Hi, thanks for tuning back in. This is part two in a series of video blogs I did of the Lower Murray, running from Murray Bridge up through Mannum to Swan Reach, Blanchetown, then eventually heading on to Morgan. This part of the road we pick it up from the last video. This is coming along East Front River Road, follows the river right along through, and it eventually takes us up over the top of the cliffs around the bend and drops us into Bow Hill. As I said, a really great part of the road, and it's one of my favourite rides through here. There's an absolute monster of stuff to look at, everything from a couple of really large houseboat marinas. There's several boat repair and refit places along the way that we're stopping to have a look at. But as I said, there's heaps to see along the way. A couple of really good caravan parks if you decide at some stage to go camping up along here or take the family away for the weekend. Heaps of quite well established river shack areas along the way on both sides of the river. As I said, this road takes us up and eventually puts us up on a set of cliffs overlooking the river, and you can see Bow Hill in the distance. And I've done this section of the road many times over the years. During the week it tends to be fairly quiet, weekends a little bit busier. This was a Saturday that I ran up through here. A little bit of traffic around, and but it was a fairly quiet weekend. There wasn't seen to be a lot of boats on the river, and even Bow Hill, which is normally fairly busy, was fairly quiet on the day. But as I said, during the week it's a great run, not a lot of cars. Don't get a lot of caravans down through here other than in Christmas or school holidays or something like that, so it's a fairly good run. It's a few shots and a little bit of footage of the road as it comes up over the cliffs on your way to Bow Hill. Gives a really good vista down the river on both sides, and there's several lagoons that you can see in the middle there. You can get at both sides of the river, and a little bit later on in this video when I leave Pernong and go around back towards Mannum, there's a couple of roads down to various marinas, and also takes you into that island lagoon area, which is a fairly expensive part of the river as far as shacks go on that Young Husband Peninsula. This is just a bit of footage coming into Bow Hill. Normally when I do a run through this area, I'll stop at Bow Hill for the general store that's there. There's a couple of shots there when it burnt down about 10 or 12 years ago, and they've completely rebuilt it. They put on a fantastic lunch, and they're super friendly people, and it's not a bad outlook to sit on the edge of the river and watch everything that's just going by on the day. After leaving Bow Hill, I continued on the main road that runs from Mannum through to Blanchetown, and there's a turn off to the left that's marked as Pernong. Turn down that road, and eventually that takes you across the river on the ferry, and then the return trip back into Mannum. As I said, another really good stretch of road from Pernong through Pernong and then back into Mannum. Once again, roads are in really good condition, and it's a really good ride through there. Running down this side of the river towards Mannum, there's some great scenery, and it's a really good ride all the way through there. There's a few roads off to the left that will take you down to a couple of marinas, caravan park, and also entry into that lagoon area at Young Husband, where, as I said, there's quite a large river shack community built in there. There's also an old timber boat building yard there, not always open, but I've stopped in there before. To the right of this road, you can take a couple of roads that run back towards Swan Reach and onto Blanchetown through Sedan and a few places like that. And I'll probably cover off on some of those roads a bit further on in another video blog. as you're coming into Mannum from the Pernong road, there's some fairly good wetland areas, a couple of really good walking tracks around part of it. There's two fairly decent sized marinas on either side of the river, and this road takes you fairly well straight back into the main street. If you're in Mannum and you want to get a bit of a fairly good overlook of the town itself and up along the river, back off the main street, I've got some photos there of it, on Crawford Crescent. You'll find a lookout right at the end there, and it's a great spot just to pull up. It gives you a fairly good outline look at what Mannum looks like sitting on the river, and takes you down right down to the far side, which is the largest one of the Mannum Marina. As I said, plenty to see in Mannum, and I've always stopped there for a cup of coffee, coming and going, and today was no exception. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next video blog. Cheerio.